Oh, baby.
Let's
He's back.
Go.
The Prince is back. What is up, everybody? And welcome to the Jamal Murray Season Preview.
Oh, baby. Baby.
We have waited so long to be able to say that.
Yes.
The return of Jamal Murray. He is back, and we can't wait to watch him play. Let's get into last year's stats. Actually, two years ago stats. 2 years ago
last year's
stats.
stats, 0.
Are these stats
Keldon
right?
needs to make
21
that
points per
graphic.
game? Yeah, he did. 21.2 points per game. Those numbers are good. We got 4.8 assists per game. We got basically 41% from the three-point line. All right. Harrison, start us off. What stands out to you?
Everything, man. Jamal Murray, he had a great year. This is an awesome year for Jamal Murray. 3-point percentage, pretty sure that was a career high.
Yeah.
Up above 20 points a game. High efficiency.
Yep.
Like, that's what Jamal Murray needs to do. He needs to put up that type of line for this Nuggets team to be a championship contender. Like that is the role he needs to play, exactly that.
I mean, is he capable of that?
This year?
Let's not say for a whole
see.
year because we know it'll start off, but is it possible that, March and April he's putting up those
Absolutely.
kind of
Absolutely.
numbers? All righty. What about you, Vogt? What stands out about those numbers?
That assists total just shy of 5
I agree.
per game. And look, Jamal's will tell you he's been a point guard the whole time. And, of course, that's the position he plays, but it's been a growth from a score-first guard to a legitimate point guard out there. And I think he's just gotten much better at that element. Now, particularly in this upcoming season, how are those assists coming? Is it just two-man with Jokic, or is it a guy who is a part of a ball is popping kind of healthier offense? So something to keep an eye on. But one of the biggest things I loved about that season was his growth as a playmaker and game manager.
Mm-hmm. Eric, what statistical marker are you most honed in on for him?
I mean, I just kind of think we are probably at the very opening of Jamal Murray's prime. Heading it. Those numbers represent the best that he's performed on an NBA court, and it was immediately at his peak taken down. And
if we would have stopped Jokic at that point, he would. Coming back, he was an MVP. At 23 to 25 is when he became an MVP.
Exactly. So it's we just need to see the continuation. But a lot of that, it just comes from it's like mental more than anything. And so I feel like he's had a lot of time to absorb the game. Obviously, we need to see what the body is able to do. Is he able to trust it? All last year, that was the conversation. He was technically cleared to play, but he didn't feel comfortable doing it. And we've already seen him suffer a little minor setback, unrelated, but all the same, like his body not quite maybe ready to hold up to the NBA rigors. So I don't know. I expect, if all in the world is right, which it's generally not, that every one of those figures goes up. I mean,
wow.
Why not? He is the primary ball handler, and he is the guy that was making the absolute difference for the Nuggets the last time we saw him. We saw him in the bubble. He literally performed better in the playoffs than Michael Jordan. Last time we saw him. And so, why not? Why not buy in?
1.3 still stands out to me. That's an awful lot. And as you add more athletes and better defenders around, guys that get steals, they're like safeties. If you get a good blitz, it's easier to get those interceptions because you're starting to play against a team that's under duress. And I wonder if Jamal Murray can make an impact on there. But the number has to be 40.8% from the three. I've long said I think Jamal Murray is more Kobe Bryant than he is Steph Curry. Meaning his mid-range game, his footwork inside is better than his just raw three-point shooting. But last year, his last healthy year was the year he was starting to make a leap there as a volume, high percentage three-point shooter. And that's the thing. When you're out for a year and a half, there's only so many things you can work on early on. And then there's a lot of time just to be in a gym and going through some of the motions. And one of those motions is just working on refining your shot. And I'm really curious to see if the version of Murray we get back this year is just a little bit better of a three-point percentage. I'm not necessarily even saying as a percentage number, but just as a guy who's a little bit better as an open three-point shooter and off-the-dribble three-point shooter. That's something I'm going to be monitoring. Big question, though. The big question for him, how quickly will he become Jamal Murray again? Is it going to be right away? Let's just put a date on it. Eric? What is the date at which Jamal Murray is once again Jamal Murray?
What is the December 15th, but the Jamal Murray?
Oh, are we going to have one of those for Jamal this year?
Well, I mean, like, no.
Well, it could be.
Absolutely not.
I think
that was
we know it'll be against the Suns probably.
Yeah, we are going to have like just a Murray eruption that signifies beyond all shadow of a doubt that he's back and he's ready to reclaim his throne. Will he? We are dealing with circumstances with Jamal Murray that we've never dealt with before. Like, he now is a guy that has had something he loves taken from him, and so he can no longer take it for granted. We saw Michael Porter Jr. sort of get a reset on his mental approach when he went through something similar. Jamal Murray, I gotta feel like, we saw coming out of the bubble, he then just kind of like took a lot of time off and was really slow to get started the next season. I feel like probably having this taken from him will change that. I have a hard time imagining Jamal Murray's not going to come in and try to make it a big impact early. Like, I just think he knows what this is now and won't take it for granted. So I think it's going to be right away.
So what's the date?
When's opening night? I don't know.
October 18th.
So it'll be October 18th.
Wow! Never question Eric's optimism. Win, give me a date.
I don't think it'll be right away. I'm going to say February 1st.
Oh,
That's the date I'm looking at. After February 1st, Denver it can be go time for the Nuggets.
Okay.
It can be go time. The trade deadline will be coming up. They can get their final piece. Jamal Murray will be Jamal Murray again. At that point in the season, we're going to be like, all right, let's fucking win a championship.
let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, getting back to the level we saw him at, not bubble, but the level we saw him at right before he went down, maybe around Christmas is my optimistic one.
Okay.
But I think it might be January. The only thing I'd say is it's been a long time. You know what I mean? Like
18 months.
Once he clears a certain mental hurdle of like, okay, I'm out here, I can do this. Like, his knee is ready.
Yeah.
You know. So there's a mental element to this that I think once he clears, things will fall back into place.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go December 1st. Wow. I think that it actually happens relatively early. Like, that gives you basically 6 weeks of kind of up and down, highs and lows. I think by early December, we see the first, sort of big Murray game. And then after that, it's just a matter of, consistency, which I think will come very quickly. But I think by December, we're starting to talk about, there it is. He's back.
That'd be awesome.
He's starting to look quicker. He's starting to look stronger.
To me, when he is finishing at the rim with ease, which was something he didn't do until that peak year. And to me, that if you see him turning corners on guys relatively easily, that's when I'll think, oh, Jamal's back.
Okay, let's go on now. Let's make some bold predictions here, guys. Bold. I feel like every prediction for him is going to be bold. Eric, why don't you start us off? This is not bold.
Oh.
No.
Eric, I need you to be more bold next
Get
year.
bold, man.
Grow up.
Get more bold.
Should I even say it? Or?
Well, if you want to
I
embarrass
said
yourself.
he's going to be a borderline all-star.
Oh,
Why is this not bold? I don't understand.
He's going to be
could've
in
said
the
all-star.
conversation for an all-star?
But in a real way.
Okay.
Not like
All right.
not like how
Paul George in the MVP conversation.
not how Devin Booker was in the MVP conversation. Jamal Murray was he's either in or we're talking about how he was the snub.
Okay.
Of the All-Star. He's going to play to that level. It's just we know that especially the guard position in the West is a very difficult thing to break into.
Donovan
One
Mitchell
favor
anymore?
now.
I just think he's gonna, he's really just gonna come back and he's gonna be Jamal Murray, and we're gonna have that argument.
All right, Vogt, what's yours? Is it borderline
No.
bold or is it
No,
bold?
it's definitive.
It's definitively bold.
In that first home game, a lot of talk about how Jamal is going to have to feel it out.
Yeah.
And I think that's true in terms of return to form. But in that first home game, he's going to see an opening. He's going to see a lane. And he's going to go up and throw down a poster.
Let's
In
go.
the Ball Arena.
I love it.
And so we won't have to wait for that first moment
Okay.
where he's high-fiving guys in the crowds.
Who's
and
it going to
girls,
be on?
excuse me.
Lindy Waters III?
Yeah. Is Wilson still in the league? What's he up to?
Just name somebody on the Thunder.
Yeah, Lindy Waters the third. There you go.
All right, I like it. A
Character of the
poster.
Great Gatsby.
Do you know, it's weird to say this. Jamal Murray has this thing, though. Kobe Bryant scored 60 points in his last game, and you're like, of course he did. You know, like the legends have a thing. Murray kind of has this. Like he just has a knack for like when there's big moments.
I know.
He rises to the occasion.
And yet you guys don't think his moment's coming till February and
I said December. I said December is early. Like that's still early.
I said opening night.
I don't even think he's going to
Said next Wednesday.
I love that you went really bold and then said he'll be a borderline all-star. Like right from game one, he's going to be his old self.
I love that that's just not bold in your head. What are we doing with this
Say
Nuggets
All-Star.
team? Like,
You gotta say All-Star.
this is insane. That is a bold proclamation.
Well,
There's a lot of players in the NBA.
It's hedged.
It's hedged.
Oh, my God.
It's
It's
also
hedged.
open-ended enough that you could be like, well, he was.
That is ridiculous.
There's what?
Kale, take me off the set.
There's like 40 borderline all-stars every year.
Oh, my God.
So he'll be one of those.
I've got a bold prediction.
All right,
Hit
Harrison.
us wind.
Jamal Murray will score 50 points in a game.
Oh,
He's going for a 50 burger this year.
Let's go.
That's really bold.
After February 1st.
Wait, that's really bold.
That is 50 points?
He's done it in a playoff game.
Okay.
And a regular season
And
game
so he
without
has
a free throw.
Does he have 3 total 50-point games? So you think he's going to have a top 4 game of his career? I love it.
Yep.
That's bold.
Yep. That's why I'm here, to get bold.
I'm looking at mine, Eric. Not so bold. I think he's going to average over 5 assists a game. Now you might say to yourself, Adam, that's not bold at all. Guess
God
what?
damn it.
Guess
That's
what?
your goddamn
That's
bold
Less
prediction.
bold than Eric.
He had
Here's what's bold.
4.8 the
All
last
right.
time we saw.
How many times does he average 5+ assists in a season? I'll give you a hint. It's 0. It's 0 times. So if I tell you he's not going to play the minutes he has in any of the previous 3 seasons, he'll play fewer minutes, yet average more assists. What is this prediction really? It's a prediction that he's going to be more facilitator than we've seen in the past, at least for a portion of the season. I really think that's going to happen. I also think the extra spacing is just going to lend itself more to like hard rotations and easier kickouts.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to see the assistment. And by the way, this is maybe it's less bold, but it is more insightful and informative in this one way.
It's more right.
In this one way. I do wonder if we're all excited for Murray to score a bunch of points, and I think that's coming. But I don't think it's needed.
It's definitely not needed.
And that's one of the things that I think is a luxury. And early on, if he does get to just kind of keep the ball popping, play a little Jokic ball, this or that early on, and he's averaging 6 assists, and then by the time his legs are underneath him, his timing is underneath him, the points go up, I think it'll be a really good combo.
It's not needed. You only need to win the game by 1 point. We're going to win by 15.
All right, we need a shocking stat, Kale.
Let's go.
Can you shock us all? Oh my God.
God.
Whoa, how much voltage is on this shock?
Socket.
So shocking. Jamal Murray shot 72% at the rim in 2021-22, which placed him in the 97th percentile of all guards. Jamal Murray.
That's shocking.
That is so shy. Harrison went great job on those. In fact, you found that shocking stat. What does it mean, Harrison?
It means that when Jamal Murray was playing, he was an elite finisher at the rim, and I never really thought of him as that. I always thought of him as a good finisher around the rim. I didn't put him up there, in the elite at his position, but he was, when he was healthy. So that's another layer to him coming back from this injury. How quickly does he get that athleticism back? How quickly does he get that touch around the rim back? Can he, by the end of the season, again become an elite finisher at the rim like he was 2 years ago?
I love this, man. It's a crucial stat to highlight. In the bubble, it's what you can point to and say, look, a lot of guys shot really well. Anthony Davis, for example. So
Shut up.
I know Jamal's getting better at shooting, but the jump shooting part, if you want to throw an asterisk on it, fine. But there was something in those playoff series, the finishes he had up and under LeBron, around Gobert, but also just getting to that point. The first handful of years in the league, Jamal was a guy who had to work so hard to ditch his defender and clear that first line. And it's happening now when healthy, much easier for him. And to me, that is his evolution. And when we see that again, that's when we'll look at each other and go, there he is.
Yeah.
And more to the point, Eric, having 4 guys who are elite around the rim, I mean, Jokic, elite around the rim, Murray, elite around the rim, AG, elite around the rim, and Michael Porter has great touch around the rim too, and I think he's going to be an elite guy there. That just puts so much pressure on the rim as well as out on the three-point line.
This is a warning to the maintenance men. Worry about the rim itself, the physical rim. Anyway,
check the rim.
The Nuggets are coming to town. Check the rim. No, it just, to me, it's like, it just reminds you, like, he is another player on this team that possesses an immense amount of skill. Like finishing at the rim is having really soft hands, is being able to control the right amount of spin, being able to get it to come out of your hands in both directions. It's like when you watch Murray start to really operate, it's that. It's like it's akin to being a really good jump shooter. There's just as much, if not more, oftentimes skill because you have to adjust really quickly on the fly based on how quickly you're coming in. I mean, there's a lot to it. So I don't believe skill doesn't leave. Like athleticism can leave you, but he has something that is just magical, and it's just a matter of Vogt says, like, being able to get to the rim in the first place is going to be huge for him. Yeah. But it's just it just reminds you, man, how transcendent this guy is. It's been so long since we've seen him play, and I just can't wait.
Let's play a little over-under, guys. A little impromptu over-under. Okay. Let's throw out some numbers here. Last season he was 21.5 points per game. The season before that, 18.5. I'm going to use the previous season in part because I just don't think he'll play. He played 35.5 minutes his last year. I don't think he'll do that. I think he'll be more around 30, 31. Let's say 18.5 points per game. Are we going over or under?
Yeah.
I'm going under too. I'm going just slightly. I think it's going to be like 18.3. 18.3. All right. Vote. You think over?
Slightly. I think it's silly to pigeonhole myself in. I think it's 19 points per game, something around that, right around that number. I think the slow start's going to be real. So I would be surprised if he's up over 20 again. But he's also, if he's got, if he's feeling like himself, I really do believe in the particular elements of evolution that he's displayed. Yeah. So I think he gets to 19, somewhere around that range.
You agree, Wind?
I agree. I think while I agree with you that his assists could be up this year, Jamal Murray's a scorer at heart, and even this preseason, we saw him have a 10-point quarter in that first preseason game against the Thunder.
True.
That was his first time playing in an NBA game in 18 months, and he filled it up in one quarter, double digits. So I think he can definitely get there. And he's got the ball. And I think Jamal Murray has a better chance of going over 20 points than maybe Michael Porter Jr. does, just because he's got the ball in his hands.
Yeah. Eric, you were slight under. Or maybe way under. I don't know. Yeah, it could be anything.
I think he did 5 points a game. No, he so when last we saw Murray, he and Jokic were being called out by Michael Porter Jr. for being too focused on that two-man game. And since that time, Nikola Jokic his game has grown and grown and grown. And more often than not, when the two-man game was happening, it meant a finish for Jamal. And I think that it more often than not, even the two-man game will suddenly turn into it's those two initiating, and then you find Michael Porter Jr., then you find KCP, then you find Aaron Gordon. I just think that the offense itself is going to be so much more dynamic and not so heavily reliant on those two that it's going to be hard. Because we really are entering into an era, hopefully, that we have a team that makes sense on paper, and it's a team, right? So it's I don't know. I think that the Nuggets are just going to be dynamic offensively, but I don't think it's going to be in a heroic Herculean effort like it was last time we saw it. Yeah.
This is a Murray-Jokic question, even though it's a Denver Nuggets question. I'm going to set this next one. Malone wants them to be even better than they were last year in the clutch. What were they, Harrison? 8th or 6th? I can't remember. Something like that. Something like that.
Territory.
He thinks they can be top 3. I'm going to set the line at 3.5. Net rating in the clutch for the Denver Nuggets.
I'm sorry. Was that last year or 2 seasons ago that they
last year? Last year. So in the clutch, are they going to have a net rating that is better than 3.5?
Yeah. I mean, how could you go under?
This is what I'm confident in. The Nuggets in the clutch, I just think are going to – I mean, the only thing is it might take a while. I could see some missed shots early on that weighs them down.
Look, I just need Nikola Jokic walking up the court with 30 seconds left going, KCP, go stand in that corner. Aaron Gordon in the dunker, Michael Porter Jr. in that corner. We're going to run the two-man game, Jamal. That's all I need to see.
And that's, to me, the number one thing Jamal Murray provides is the way it changes the complexion of clutch time for Denver. That's the first thing I think of. Yeah. Got to be up.
Which is funny because clutch time previously is just relying on Nikola Jokic, who converted every single opportunity.
Yeah, it was helpful. Yeah, he was good in that.
Last one here. Let's go peaks. Over or under 1.5 40-point games? 1.5 40-point games this year. I'm going to go
1.5
over 2.
40-point games. Do you think he has multiple 40-point games?
All
Yeah,
right.
he has one 150-point game also.
He has 150 according
That's
to
true.
to win.
That's
All right,
true.
you went under.
I just has he done that yet at any point in his career
40-point games?
in the same
I'm
season?
pretty- I think
Last
he
in
went.
that-
He had
that-
2. He had a 46 and a 50 piece in the last month before he got hurt.
That
Yeah,
is
I
true.
think Vogt just went under so he could talk.
You got it.
He's like, I know how this show works.
I figured one of us should have a different answer on that one.
I
don't
might
know,
have set
man.
that line a little too low.
It seems high to me.
All right, guys, we all need a little relationship advice in our lives from time to time. Dev couldn't be with us today, but he is standing by in a bathrobe for some reason.
He's in a velvet room.
Let's go to Dev.
Where else would he be?
Well, hello. I didn't see you there. First up, it looks like we have Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray, trophy wife, if you will. I mean, the guy is perfect. It was that relationship in high school when you were a junior and she was a senior. You know, it was perfect, but it just ended. It had to end. She went off to college. But guess what? You graduated. One more year. We went to the same college. Oh, things are going to be great. We're going to try to pick up exactly where we left off. Things are going to start out rocky, but guess what? We're going to work out. We might last. Jamal, welcome back.
Oh, wow.
I feel greasy,
What?
but good.
You feel greasy but good?
Just like I'm covered in
Grease?
some kind
Yeah.
of like lube or something.
Wow. Let's get out of here before we're canceled.
we
That
cut
does
that?
it for Jamal Murray, the big fella. Up next. We'll see you guys there.